Hey guys, Peanut here. Welcome to my den. We're gonna get started with Kyle is Famous. Now, this is a story game that your choices influence the outcome or the ending or blah blah blah. So, we're gonna get started because I don't like talking too much. So, it's called Kyle is Famous by John Snevensky. Oh my god, Snevensky. I was saying it correctly just before I started streaming, and now I can't even say it at all. Kyle woke up. He is famous. Kyle is host of the most popular talk show in recent memory, Stay Up Late with Kyle. Stay Up Late with Kyle has grown in popularity quickly in the last year, and the public has noticed. Inside has called Kyle a most excellent dumpy white man. Top Tech noted that Kyle is inspiring youth to explore STEM fields. Most other talk shows are dedicated to discussing Kyle and his personal details. Most online videos are best of clips taken from Kyle's latest broadcast. The eye of the world is upon Kyle. Tonight is Kyle's most important guest interview yet. Stay Up Late with Kyle will be featuring Rachel May. She is a kind and loving philanthropist. Oh my god, why am I struggling with words today? She is dear to the hearts of many. The interview requires preparation. Kyle cracked his eyes open, knowing today is the last chance to prepare for the interview. Kyle has 30 hours left. He must choose his actions wisely. Start preparing! Kyle's first decision of the morning was made wisely. Exit the bed. Kyle exited his bed and took a quick glance around his bedroom. Open the closet, sit at desk, scavenge, exit bedroom to hallway. Let's go to the hallway. Kyle walked into the small hallway that connects his rooms of his apartment together. Move to kitchen. Kyle walked to the center of the kitchen. Check pantry or open fridge. Let's open fridge. Kyle opened the fridge, intending to find something to eat. Let's eat the fridge. Let's just prepare breakfast this time. Kyle constructed a breakfast of poached eggs and toast along with small fruit cup and grilled sausage. Let's eat it. Let's not do anything crazy. Kyle ate his breakfast slowly and thoughtfully, enjoying every bite. He felt refreshed. Returned to the kitchen. Kyle walked to the center of the kitchen. Returned to hallway. Kyle walked into the small hallways that connect his rooms of his apartment together. Let's return to bedroom. And okay, so we're back in the center of the bedroom. Let's open the closet. And Kyle opened the closet. It was dark and he could only really see his hanging shirts. Choose an outfit. Kyle decided some time to choose the perfect outfit, knowing how important appearance is. Jeans and swimming goggles, skunk pasties, slick suit of armor. Let's do slick suit. Kyle miraculously crammed his dumpy body into the suit. The chest pockets were filled with random knickknacks. Let's go back to room. Let's sit at desk. Kyle made his way over to his desk and sat down. Write notes for interview. Are you a mother? Am I a mother? Is your mother a mother? Oh my. Are you a mother? Second question. What are some diet tips? I purposely ran over a puppy. I can't. Definitely gonna play this line and see what the different things lead up to. So, what's your funniest story? Let's just do. What's your guilty pleasure? Kyle ripped his page of notes out of the notebook and got it from the desk. Checking desk drawer. Kyle opened up the side drawer on his desk and grabbed one of the items stored there. Small key. Back to room. Bedroom to hallway. Check locked door. go visit the tech store. Ask attendant for free samples. Kari hurried to the set. Sitting across from his host shows glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. As Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking at him in the eyes. I've been looking forward to being here. Kyle responded. Scream and spin in circles. Just answer politely. And I as well, Rachel answered Kyle, extending his hand and greeting her a most welcome guest. Shake hands. After their mild exchange of pleasantries, Kyle and Rachel prompted to take their places for the broadcast. A moment after seating, the studio lights bring in and the camera switched on to start broadcast. Good evening, everyone, said Kyle, looking at the camera. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Kyle. Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Kyle motioned to Rachel, who smiled and went with the camera. Hello, Kyle, she said. I'm glad to be here. Well, I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss, so we might as well dive right in, said Kyle. I'm very ready, said Rachel with a winning smile. Kyle produced the notes he had taken earlier. Well, what's your funniest story? Well, that's a great question, Kyle, said Rachel. I think the story I always remember is the first time I tried to make dinner for my family. In the soup I made, I swapped out the water with milk and tipped the whole jar of salt in the pot. Oh my gosh. My family was sick from trying to eat it. I swiped their things and locked myself in my room. Rachel laughed elegantly. What kind of? Carol decided to move on. Can I ask another question? What's your guilty pleasure? It was an easy answer, said Rachel, dipping pickles in chocolate sauce. For some reason, that sounds amazing. I don't know. When I was pregnant, I did the whole pickles and ice cream thing. It might sound strange, but it's tangy and sweet at the same time. I eat it far too often. Carol asked another question. Are you a mother? Rachel, I and many others would love to know. Are you a mother? Kyle looked up from his notes. Well, being a single woman with a career, she said, that's not something that has crossed my mind. Huh. Very reasonable indeed, said Kyle. He referenced his paper of questions, so I only have one more. What are some diet tips? Well, a good diet starts with a plan. Don't break it. Cheat days can turn into habits. That is but she continued, that doesn't mean a midnight snack here and there isn't allowed. She smiled. Kyle looked at his flabby self, decided to not comment, and moved on. After reading his final question, Kyle looked up from his paper. Well, Rachel, he said, I think that's all I was planning on asking you. If that's the case, Kyle, may I ask you something in return? Asked Rachel, smiling one more time. Do you prepare for your interviews in advance? Because you seem very together. Before Kyle could answer, the camera shut down. The broadcast was over. Kyle returned home knowing the interview had gone well. But he's lying in bed and drifted to sleep. He felt that perhaps something was still missing. Kyle prepared very well. Okay. Let's wither away. Kyle decided to put him away. Kyle withered successfully and died. Kyle is now a ghost. It does not relieve him of his responsibilities. Get out of bed anyways. Kyle quickly crashed on the floor, realizing his immediate need for gossip. Kyle firmly pressed his ear into the carpet, hoping to hear some stray words from the neighbors below. I heard Rachel May is going on a trip out of the country soon. Oh, girl, tell me more. Oh, classic gossip. Well, what I will tell you is that every night I don a mask that looks like a bug and frighten Miss Dewars. There was a stunned silence, and a door opened and someone exited the neighbor's apartment. Carrie turned into the bedroom. Let's open the closet. She's an outfit. Suit of armor. After much breathing and sweating, Kyle managed to wrap the metal suit around his dumpy self. Let's come out here. Move to the kitchen. Check pantry. Oh, okay, okay. Let's go to the bedroom. Sit at desk. Check in desk drawers. Small key. Back to room. Exit the hallway. Move to kitchen. Check pantry. Lock a small key. Instead of an assortment of canned goods and grains, Kyle's pantry stored his massive amount of bottled lard. Per normal, he ceased to be a ghost before he arrived. Spit his Sorry, I know. I'm like clicking through these really fast. Well, Kyle. In the coming days, fans of both Rachel and Kyle dubbed this show as a masterpiece of television. To stay up late with Kyle's online pages were updated to reflect his broadcast as the most popular ever. Kyle's producer later tried to have Rachel on the show again, but she was very, very, very busy. Talked about Gabby. I've unlocked 2 of 21 endings. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay, let's exit the bed. Scavenge resources. It was indeed the corpse of Harry Van that had gone missing years ago at Kyle's house. Kyle was glad to see him again, but unsure of whether to interrupt such an important day to deal with Harry business. Deal with Harry. Kyle hoisted Harry onto his shoulder and took him outside. Kyle began dragging Harry's body down the street, drawing many, many stairs. Kyle knew exactly where he needed to take Harry's corpse on a lovely playdate, just the two of them. Kyle and Harry stood at the arcade. Kyle used Harry's arm to operate the joysticks and push buttons. After 5 or 6 different games, the two friends had enough tickets for a single candy bar. They took their prize to the local park for eating. Kyle tried to feed some of the chocolate to Harry, but Harry seemed to not have an appetite. After eating, Kyle noticed a playground nearby. He dragged Harry over. Kyle tried to figure out a way to swing Harry on the swing set, but lacking the ability to grip, Harry kept falling out. Instead, Kyle started to lug Harry to the top of the slide, shove him down time and time again. Finally, Kyle took Harry to the movies to see as many popular films as their pocket change allowed. Kyle quickly found that he had no pocket change, so he searched through Harry's corpse until he found his wallet. Kyle bought 2 tickets to I Love Romance. After getting inside, Kyle left Harry to go find a restroom. By the time Kyle finished using the restroom, he had forgotten that he had brought Harry along. Kyle watched I Love Romance by himself. Harry's corpse sat on a bench in the auditorium. While Kyle was in a movie, a beautiful thing happened. Harry's corpse, imbued with the power of friendship and love, was reanimated. Kyle's old rotten flesh gained color and life. His fingernails regrew. His missing eye came back. By the time the movie was over, Harry was able to greet Kyle with a large, friendly hug as his old self. Kyle was confused and delighted that his long-lost friend met him on his way out of the theater. The two made plans to get a drink together and parted ways for the day. Kyle returned home, forgetting about the interview with Rachel. Kyle helped a friend. Whoops! Okay, so let's exit the bed. Sit at desk. Chicken desk drawers. Flashlight. Bugs. that'd be good. Kyle decided it would be best to try to force the door open with use of his face. After smashing his features into solid wood for several minutes, Kyle gained severe short-term amnesia. Kyle's starting scraping the streaks of crud and spots of black mold off the walls of his fridge. After balling up the filth inside of the fridge, Kyle bit into the crusty, moist ball. Oh my! Several minutes of chewing later, Kyle finished chewing and swallowed the ball whole. Kyle walked to the center of the kitchen. I am. Let's leave apartment. Visit downstairs neighbor. Consume Gabby. Job done. Kyle returned to the street. Steel techno gym. Kyle hurried to the set, sitting across. Okay, approach Rachel. Rachel smiled quickly, turned to shock as she realized Kyle had not put on clothes that day. Kyle waved his smile proudly. Rachel uncomfortably averted her eyes. Kyle started making his rounds around the room, greeting each crew member, none of whom looked at him directly. As it became apparent that Kyle had no intention of leaving, Rachel made some excuses and exited the set. One by one, the crew followed suit. Kyle was left all alone. Kyle prepared by peeing and Noonan. Are we gonna ignore the fact he ate his neighbor? Let's wither away again. Let's leave apartment. Slowly, Kyle started to twirl outside of Gabby's door, arms outstretched. He tilted his neck upwards and let loose a long, passionate, and meaningful scream. As Kyle continued to spin, Gabby shut and locked her door, as she did every time Kyle screamed outside her door. Eventually, Kyle ran out of breath and fell over. Kyle walked into the clean white tech store. He was greeted by Techno Jim, an elaborate cutout mascot with flashing lights. Steel Techno Jim. Quickly before the attendant could acknowledge him, Kyle grabbed Techno Jim by the shoulders, finding that Techno Jim's cardboard feet were bolted to the ground. Kyle started to pull upwards forcefully. After several tugs, Techno Jim broke free, leaving one foot and one leg behind. Kyle glanced at the attendant, who was staring bewildered, and ran outside. Kyle walked into the middle of the road and took a long, pondering look around him. Returned to the apartment. Kyle walked into the small hallway that connects to the rooms of his apartment together. Let's go to the kitchen. Open the fridge. How if I eat the fridge? Kyle pointed his neck directly upwards and hoisted the fridge on top of his face. Somehow, miraculously, he wrapped his mouth around the device he started to swallow. In one slow, horrible movement, the fridge slid down Kyle's throat. After many gurgles, pops, and snaps, Kyle felt relatively sure the fridge would not come back out. Kyle walked to the center of the kitchen. Let's go back to the bedroom. Let's find clothes. Skunk pasties. Kyle hurried to the set. Per normal, he ceased to be a ghost before he arrived. Sitting across from him, as Kyle approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. Good evening, Kyle, she said, looking him in the eyes. I'm looking forward to being here. I interviewed Techno Jim instead. Kyle roughly shoved Rachel out of her seat and placed Techno Jim in her stead. Hello, Techno Jim, said Kyle. I'm going to interview you today. Kyle grasped Techno Jim's hand and tried to shake it, but instead tore it off the cardboard frame. Kyle's producer, sensing viral media, pulled the bewildered Rachel out of frame and motioned to the crew to go live. Cameraman moved, lights flashed, and suddenly the studio was on air. "Hi, I'm Kyle," said Kyle, "and tonight I'm going to interview a very special guest." He pointed to Techno Jim using his dismembered arm. Techno Jim started to smoke from the heat of the lights. "Would you like to introduce yourself?" asked Kyle. Knowing Jim would probably not speak, Kyle took it upon himself to be his voice as well. "Hi, Kyle," he said, raising the pitch of his voice. "My name is Rachel May, and I'm your very special guest." Rachel's expression of confusion turned to shock. "Well, Rachel, you look way too thin and absolutely terrible, and you should feel ugly." Kyle gave Jim a meaningful stare. "Wow, Kyle," you said, "I sure wish I could look like you." Techno Jim burst into flames. Instantaneously, the sprinkler system initiated. Curtains of water poured down from the rafters. Within seconds, the production equipment was doused in water. The set was soon abuzz with electrical fires. Kyle screwed Ben and their post cameraman and sound mixers to try to put the fires out. As the crew scrambled around, the cameras continued to run. Kyle sat motionless, staring forward. Eventually, the fires were all put out. Kyle's producer shut off the broadcast, leaving Kyle's vacant stare as the final frame. Kyle's ratings skyrocketed. Techno Jim became a staple on the show, often ending up destroyed by the end of each episode. Although Rachel did not come back on the show, her cardboard portrayal did. Rachel was very popular. Callan interviewed Rachel. There's so many different endless possibilities. I'm gonna do one more. Let's fix the bed. We haven't done jeans and swimming goggles. Kyle decided on a fashion-forward, casual style. He could barely see out of the goggles. Sit at desk. Let's get the small key and then see what happens when we go chug a thing of lard. Move to kitchen. Check pantry. Oh, I meant to chug it. Chug a lard bottle. Wildly stuck down into the bottle, felt very sick. Chug a lard bottle. Kyle's vomiting the lard and mixing it away to make it hard to tell which was which. Finish off the pantry. As Kyle finished the last bottle of lard, he felt a wave of accomplishment come over him. Kyle walked to the kitchen. You can do it again. Blah blah. Kyle responded. Scream and spin in circle. Oh, so mean. So we're back at the interview part. Kyle vomited all the horrible things I'd eaten earlier onto the floor. Rachel looked at Kyle concerned, gave a couple coughs, and decided to play it cool and keep the show running. Kyle stopped and vomited again, then continued with the shaky voice. Dive right into this bottle. That is, Kyle pulled his bottle of lard, bit the top off, and chugged it. Kyle's body rejected the lard. He began to spew chunks of lard and digestive fluid in every direction. Everyone within a 10-foot radius was immediately covered, including Rachel. Kyle continued to vomit. Rachel bravely fought to stay seated amongst the vomit, hoping to save the show from disaster. Unfortunately, as Kyle's vomit had covered all the cameras, there was no broadcast. Kyle finished spewing eventually. The broadcast was not recoverable. All present were sent home to try again another day. As Kyle got home, he made a mental note to refill his lard supply. Okay, got good interview, not close. Second to Jim. Gossip, lard, helped Harry. What is this? Should I click that? Probably don't want to click that. Okay, let's. Worker is famous. Skip that. Let's wither away. They have a holiday expansion. Okay, that's what that is. How much is that? I wonder. Ooh. I should find that real quick. Hold on. Let me. I kind of want to see what the expansion is. Oh, okay. But I want to go. Okay. Oh, of course you didn't. Okay. So it's Kyle Santa, and it's only 254 right now. I'm gonna get it. I really shouldn't, but. Um. Shoot. Hold on. Where's my wallet? Okay. Boom. Yeah. Let's install that content real quick. Okay. Are you going to install? No? Okay. I understand. It's probably because I'm playing the game. Shucks. Get out of bed. Let's do bugs. Okay, I want to see what happens if you eat the bugs. I don't know what I want to do now. Float through as a ghost. Check supernatural artifact. Get laser claymore. Check sewing machine. Threw artifact at Rachel. If she approached Jacob Santa, Kyra produced a supernatural artifact and winged it at Rachel's face. Within moments of the artifact colliding with her head, Rachel started to turn into a lizard demon. Rachel began to cause destruction, tipping over lights and causing crew members to scatter. Cairo, realizing the disaster he had caused, decided it was up to him to tame the monster. Kyle launched herself at the monster's Rachel. In a great collision of flesh, Kyle rammed face first into the monster's stomach. Kyle continued to launch himself into Rachel's stomach with wild abandon. After several dozen collisions, small, insignificant bones in Kyle's body began to fracture. Kyle continued. Rachel began to lose stamina from the instant damage Kyle was inflicting upon herself. Kyle continued his assault. Nobody present could tell what part of his bodies were bruised and what wasn't. Wrenching one well-placed lunge artifact embedded in Rachel's face popped out. Immediately, Rachel turned back into her normal human self. The studio, now in shambles, flicked to life. The broadcast had started automatically. Kyle, unable to move properly, became aware that the eyes of many were upon him. Kyle tried to address the audience, but instead spewed mixtures of breakfast, phlegm, and chunks of wall. Kyle's spewing video became a very hot meme. Online personalities used it to express his distaste about social issues. Teenagers sent it to each other about homework amounts. Rachel's broadcast was rescheduled for the following week. Fans complained about not being able to see Rachel's face as she wore protective headgear the entire time. Rachel prepared by being a lizard. I'm honestly having too much fun with this. And I think it's in a very kind of like bad sense. Okay, well, I want to go to my library. I wonder if I can, if it's already. I mean, I already got the expansion pack. Is there a way to switch it to that, or do I have to like exit the game and come back or something? I don't know. How does Steam work? Okay, hold on. Only acquired DLC has automatically installed. So do I just need to restart the game or something? Lizard Demon 2. There's a first Lizard Demon? It's not gonna do it. Okay, well, skip that. Okay. Let's wither away. Shucks. Let's get out of it anyways. Go to there, check locked door. Float through it as a ghost. Go inside. Get laser claymore. Back doorway. Leave apartment. Ask Gabby about Rachel. Oh, Rachel, Gabby said. She's a wonderful woman. Her generous acts have inspired more good work than bad. Gabby trailed off, not meeting Kyle's eyes. After several uncomfortable minutes of silence, Kyle turned around and left. Return to apartment. Can I go back to neighbors? What's next door? Okay, ask for free samples. The tenant gave Kyle a confused and slightly vacant look. Kyle began to beg for a free sample. Wanting Kyle to leave, the attendant grabbed the decrepit phone meant for spare parts and held it out. Grab with teeth. Kyle firmly clamped his mouth around the outstretched phone, creating several teeth holes in the screen. Kyle grunted and yanked with his head until the attendant let go of the phone. The phone is now Kyle's to use forever. Give review of free sample. This phone, said Kyle, is several years old and has exposed wires coming out of the back. Kyle continued, the phone also has had screen issues after I used it to hammer nails into the wall for a painting. Okay, I already did that one. Okay, I'm gonna reload the game so I can get the Santa hat, because I want the, or at least so I can do the Santa wow, I cannot think about what I'm about to say. Kyle Santa, that's what it is. Wow, I don't know why I was having such a hard trouble thinking about that. Oh, of course. What did I do? let's go. Is this like... This is the same stuff. Ah, okay. Embrace the Christmas spirit. As Kyle started to leave his bed, something stopped him. I still have the phone. Maybe it was a smell in the air. Maybe it was the chill from outside. Or maybe it's just pure luck. Kyle had been imbued with the spirit of Christmas. In an instant, Kyle began to hear the dreams and wishes of every child in the world all at once. Kyle's newfound abilities were quite overwhelming. He clutched his head and screamed loudly. The voice did not stop. Kyle curled into a small ball and rocked back and forth. Not to be left alone, Kyle was gifted with the Christmas miracle. Small bumps began forming under his skin, pushing outwards. Kyle's skin began to stretch and tear, letting loose a small army of elves that had been growing in his stomach. That sounds terrible. The elves scattered around Kyle's apartment, foraging for anything remotely nutritious to feed on. Kyle birthed an elf army. He had become chosen to. He had been chosen to become Santa Claus. Kyle decided the best course of action was to fulfill his duties as Santa Claus. Kyle stepped out of bed, stray elves falling from various holes in his skin. Kyle must now continue his day as Santa Claus. Oh boy. Kyle exited his bed and took a quick glance around his bedroom. Let's open the closet. Choose an outfit. Santa suit! Kyle properly chose to dress as Santa, who he was. Kyle returned to the center of the bedroom. Create Santa's list. He knew he must construct his naughty nice list to begin to think of all the people in his life. Kyle thought of Gabby. Nice. Kyle thought of Rachel. Nice. Tech and Jim. Nice. Kyle thought of Kyle. Nice. Okay, let's go back to your room. Let's go to elves. Kyle, once as he realized he'd probably need to bring some elves along. Kyle grabbed a nearby bag. He started to crawl around, furiously grabbing elves left and right. Soon Kyle's bag was mostly full of elves. That's enough. Kyle returned to the center of the bedroom. Examined the hallway. Move to kitchen. Make Christmas cookies. Kyle thought it'd be nice to make some Christmas cookies. He opened every drawer and cupboard in his kitchen to decide what he would top his cookies with. Soon he had narrowed it down to 4 choices. It's just sprinkles. Kyle walked to the center of the kitchen. Open fridge. Prepare breakfast. Smash! Kyle smashed his breakfast so pop using both fists. That was satisfying. Leave apartment. Kyle hurried to the set, sitting across from there's Rachel. Dump elves on Rachel. Before Rachel had completely finished her sentence, Kyle took his bag of elves and dumped them on her. The elves grabbed onto Rachel with a deathly unshakable grip. Kyle, what on earth, said Rachel. She bolted out of her chair and tried to bat the elves off of her. These, Rachel, said Kyle, are your newest and bestest friends. You must take good care of them. The elves looked Rachel in the eyes and smiled endearingly. Unknown to anyone previously, Rachel had terrible allergic reactions to elf dander. Within moments, Rachel's whole body turned bright red and began to puff. The reaction is not like a normal reaction. The very foundational composition of Rachel's person began to change. Rachel started to sprout limbs from her legs and forehead. Her fingers grew extra eyes. As Rachel continued to mutate, it became obvious to the onlookers what was happening. Rachel was transforming into the pure embodiment of all of Christmas. Kyle realized that if he was going to keep his job as Santa, this would have to be nipped in the bud. Kyle started to pull elves off of the growing Rachel. Instead of slowing the growing process that seemed to give Rachel's body more space to develop new limbs and ears. After pulling a few more elves off, Kyle threw his hands in frustration and gave up. He walked out of the building. Rachel continued to grow, becoming a shapeless mass of teeth, shoulders, and fat. The elves were slowly enveloped. After the initial shock wore off, the surrounding community began to appreciate Rachel's new form. Over the years, she became an icon of local Christmas celebrations, acting as a centerpiece for decorations and celebrations. Rachel truly became the embodiment of Christmas. Kyle still Kyle still Santa remained very jealous. Kyle started a tradition. Perhaps social media. Kyle started to scroll through news articles on his phone. Read articles. Stay up late with Kyle ranked number one and number two show on television. Read more. New East Bridge being New East Bridge being constructed after being found to not actually exist. Authorities investigating. Another grand larceny and crime spree streak. Evidence pointing to perpetrator fleeing the country. Rachel made to unexpectedly leave the country on very, very long vacation after interview tonight. Who is the bug vigilante recently spotted pursuing larcenists? Kyle failed to show up to several charity events. Bug vigilante shows up to charity events with fresh baked pastries. Donations flourish. Hot dogs make resurgence as fuel source for both humans and tugboats. Huh. Kyle's phone exploded in his hands from overuse. Kyle decided Harry could wait until another day and quietly folded a pile of filth back on top of him. Let's do it. Let's visit downstairs neighbor. Okay. In response, Kyle collapsed on the floor. From a combination of stressful preparation and not eating anything, Kyle had passed out. Nobody in the studio quite knew what to do with him. They began to poke Kyle in the back to see if he moved. After a while, they ended the broadcast, shut off the lights, and went home. Kyle was left face first on the floor. So, eating my neighbor didn't do anything? Skip that part. Can you say yes, Santa Claus? Owls. Okay. Use Christmas magic. Let's do dirt. They were iffy. Ooh, go on Santa duties. Kai realized it was wise to conduct his duties as Santa. Release elves upon the world. Kyle dumped his bag of elves on the ground. No, I wanted to. Whoops, I'm naked. Okay, wait. Do that. Skip. Let's go. Put on Santa suit real quick. Okay. Scavenge. Grab the elves. More. I'm out here. I want all the elves. Exit. Leave apartment. Go on Santa duties. Release elves upon the world. There we go. Kyle dumped his bag of elves on the ground. The elves silently looked around them, stunned by the sudden change of environment. The silence did not last long. The elves began tearing about, screaming Christmas carols and looking for food. Ravenously, they devoured every crumb, piece of trash, and bit of roadkill they could find on Kyle's street. It was not nearly enough to satisfy them to begin to branch out to nearby streets. The elves could not be satiated. They began to swipe food out of hands of nearby restaurant goers. Like a flood, the elves took over Kyle's city. Houses broken into, streets were blocked. Within minutes, there wasn't a scrap of food left in the city. Driven by hunger, the elves started gnawing their way through walls, devouring buildings from the top down. The government's defense measures were brought in to attempt to stop the waves of elves. In a flurry of rage, the elves launched themselves directly towards their enemy. They were a grand clash of bullets and teeth. The elves clamped themselves firmly onto the army members. Hunks of metal and bulletproof jackets were torn asunder by the elf mouths. The army's equipment and weapons were systematically swallowed. There was nothing left to stop the elves from consuming every last material from the earth. Nothing except Kyle himself. Kyle planted himself in the front of the elf maw menacingly. The elves launched themselves into the air, flying at Kyle, feet first and screaming Christmas cheer. With cat-like speed, he started grabbing elves out of the air and shoving them into his mouth. Kyle swallowed elves at a frightening pace. He grabbed them with both hands from his legs as they tried to climb up. Kyle's stomach began to bulge with elf mass, but he did not slow down. And suddenly, as it had started, the flurry of elves ended. Kyle had swallowed them all. Kyle became a national icon of homeland defense. The world began to refer to Kyle among the great history figures of humanity. Kyle was preemptively awarded the next two Nobel Peace Prizes. His name became synonymous, with safety and joy. Kyle spent the next few days hunched over the toilet, hacking elves out one by one and flushing them into the sewer. The elves from an underground society in the belly of the city, living happily in peace away from humanity. Kyle released the elves. Okay, embrace Christmas spirit. Skip. Okay, so what if I just put on the Santa suit and then let's move to the kitchen real quick, make Christmas cookies with sprinkles, and then leave apartment, go on Santa duties, give presents to children. Kyle could think of nothing better than to gather children around him and give them presents. Kyle supposed it was possible that there were children in the nearby park, so he quickly walked over. Upon arriving, Kyle saw several families happily walking around and playing in the snow. Kyle called for families to gather around. The children bounced over expectantly. Kyle presented the children with the gift. Oh. Is there a stork wisdom? Don't feed your girlfriend sea monkeys on the first day. There may not be a second. No, he's right. Us girls don't like that, and a mother remembered when you tried that. Remember when you tried that on me, Dale? Dale remembered and grinned. Yep, but she still stuck with me. Must have done something right. The group of parents laughed appreciatively and started swapping stories of their first dates. Kyle screamed and tore at his stomach. More elves were on their way out. In a sudden explosion, the group was covered in hungry, crawling elf flesh. The parents were roped into a frenzy of pulling elves off themselves and their children. Uncomfortable with the situation, decided to leave. On his way home, Kyle greeted everyone he passed. Inside his door, he stopped and smiled. He knew he had done something wonderful for the children in his community. I gifted wisdom. This is a lot of fun, honestly. I want to keep playing, but I don't want to bore you guys, because I feel like I'm going to get super boring doing the same thing over and over. Spread Christmas cheer. Kyle knew that one of his duties as Santa must be to spread Christmas cheer. Kyle skipped down the street merrily. As he met others walking along the sidewalk, he smiled. Surely would feel Christmas cheer. After several streets, Kyle stopped skipping. Nobody had burst into Christmas song. Nobody wished him Merry Christmas. Nobody had even smiled. Kyle realized he would need to spread Christmas cheer more aggressively. Kyle walked up to a young couple, chatting and laughing amongst themselves. He grabbed the one by the shoulder and shook her lightly. Listen to me, he screamed. It's Christmas time. The couple left quickly. Kyle not just waited, ran into the streets, stopping a car with his hands. It's Christmas. Tell your family I love them. Kyle started banging his fist on the car hood. Kyle's method still proved ineffective. He realized that if he were to be a proper Santa, he must not hold back. Kyle started slamming his forehead into the car repeatedly, flailing his hair, his arms in the air. It's time for presents. Kyle emphasized each word with the percussion from his face. Suddenly, Kyle was blessed with another Christmas miracle. Kyle's neck shot darkly upwards, throwing his mouth towards the sky. Slowly, painfully, a live reindeer began to emerge from his throat. In fact, it was not only one reindeer, it was several. Kyle went around, arms waving, desperately trying to find a way of dislodging the animals emerging from him. In a sudden, forceful moment, reindeer after reindeer explosively shot out of Kyle's mouth. The stream did not stop there. Every orifice of Kyle's face began shooting wrapped presents of all sizes in every direction. Kyle, unaware of what to do, spun in all directions and screamed. Like doves, the presents flew far into the air, landing into the laps of children of the world. Within a period of minutes, Kyle had managed to give the world the Santa-ly gifts. Eventually, the presents stopped spewing. Kyle fell to the ground. He crawled his way back to his apartment and laid down. Kyle did not remember about his interview with Rachel. I would not remember either. But, okay, so there's 12 endings. There's obviously still 20 more to go. I definitely recommend, seeing if you can't find the rest of these endings, because honestly, this game so far seems really, really funny. I had another game that I wanted to play, but it wasn't loading, so I just gave up trying to get it to load. I might go play it by myself instead of actually reading it for you guys. But honestly, that was actually kind of really, really funny. And I'm glad I decided to actually play it. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!